No Ohio State players taken in the second round of the 2022 NFL draft, but at the 69th pick in the third round, another one goes off the board in offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere. I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com, along with Stephen Means. And that is about the range that we thought Nick Petit-Frere would come off the board. A guy who his positional versatility was going to be a big part, and it feels like that's why he might fit in really well with what the Tennessee Titans have. Number one, it's Mike Vrabel. It's a coach that, even though Nicholas Petit-Frere, I don't know that he tested quite to the athletic extent that we thought he might in the combine and pro day, but that's a guy who obviously has the ear of Ohio State's coaching staff and probably got good scattering reports on the makeup of Nicholas Petit-Frere and exactly what he can do on a football field. But a guy who had a great season at right tackle in 2020, had an all right season, kind of an uneven season at left tackle in 2021, and now goes to a team as a third round pick where he can maybe kind of grow into a bigger role.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't need him to be their starting left tackle because they've got a franchise starting left tackle who when Taylor Lewan, like when he started that contract, it was like the largest ever by a tackle. So it's he's going to be a right tackle for them. That's what they're going to develop him into, which, as we saw in 2020, he can do that at an elite level before he got flipped over to left tackle. So he's got experience there. He has the versatility to play on either side if you do necessarily need him in an emergency pitch. But this is clearly we have our left tackle for however much longer Taylor Lewan wants to play football, and we need a right tackle, and Nicholas Petit-Frere slides in pretty easily there.
Yeah, Taylor Lewan, a former first-round pick out of Michigan, is a three-time Pro Bowler. And as you say, I mean, he's only 30 years old, so he's got a lot of football life left in him, I think, as a left tackle, and can be kind of the stabilizing factor there. Over on the other side of the line, the Titans have a guy that they took in the second round last year named Dylan Radins, who so more of an opportunity right away there. But even if he doesn't win a starting job right away, because of that experience he has at both sides, he's a valuable guy on an offensive line because he can back up both tackle spots, you would think, pretty capably. Now, this is also a team in the Titans that is a very run-first organization. I would be too if I had Derrick Henry on my team. And right away, a fun moment for this said everything you need to kind of know, I think, about Nicholas Petit-Frere. But he's asked about Derrick Henry, and here was the quote: "Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's such a blessing. I hope I get a chance to meet him, and me and him become best friends." I thought that was like the most Nicholas Petit-Frere NFL draft quote possible. He had a lot of his personality, I think, also was going to do well in the interview process when he met with teams, because he has an infectious enthusiasm that, regardless of the adversity he might have encountered during this season, and there were some games where he didn't play as well as a high NFL draft pick should play. There were some other games, though, where, they neutralized George Karlaftis from Purdue, who was a first-round pick. They held down Boye Mafe, who was a second-round pick. Last year, going back, the guys, Jason Owe and Shaka Toney from Penn State got pretty much neutralized. I mean, he was a part of all of those wins, too. So I did think that some of the criticisms against him about not handling Aiden Hutchinson and Ojabe as well as you could have in the Michigan game, etc. Some of that was maybe going a little too far, but I understood where it was coming from.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson was the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. Nobody handled him. He had 14 sacks last year, and David Ojabo only fell because he got hurt. He probably would have been a first rounder in his own right. But I'm glad you brought up Derrick Henry because they are a run-based team. And if you had to say what part of Nicholas Petit-Frere's game is maybe a little bit more further along, it's his ability as a run blocker, which, yes, Mike Vrabel's a Buckeye, but it's like, I mean, you're looking for guys to pave the way for your MVP level running back, and Nicholas Petit-Frere fits that bit pretty well.
I think it's an interesting landing spot for him. And again, right around the spot where we thought he would go. That's the only Buckeye to go on day 2 so far. We're keeping an eye on whether Jamie Ruckert or someone else sneaks in before the end of the third round. But come find us on Buckeye Talk, wherever you can find podcasts. We are going to have a reaction episode for Saturday morning, kind of recapping what we saw in rounds 2 and 3.